So I'm trying to design like these micro scale play sets in Blender and import them into the Anycubic slicer, as well as also I'm using Cura for some applications as well. And currently I have the Anycubic slicer brought up here because I just wanted to use this window to visualize it before I mess with some settings in Cura later. Basically, this is an early version of the playset I'm trying to design. Um, it's got a little helipad here. You can park a helicopter or one of these UFOs. It does have a little garage building back here, but unless I scale up this entire model to a scale that my printer can't realistically print, because I don't have a big enough print bed for that, none of the vehicles can park in that garage, even if I scale them down. And I know my printer cannot handle printing these as small as I would like to. Like, I shouldn't even be trying to print them this small. My printer can do it with some models, as long as they're not too complex. Like, I think, like, maybe this UFO and, this, like, drone tank thing, and I don't know, maybe this airplane. I think those ones will print fine. In fact, I did kind of test print some of them earlier at an actual smaller scale than the ones you see on screen here. So, like, the airplane here, these are all models I made in Blender. The one that kind of looks like a Warthog or a Thunderbolt 2, you know what I mean. It's actually, I kind of based it more so on the Cobra Rattler, which is based on the Warthog or Thunderbolt 2, depending on how, they're the same. They're all the same vehicle, just slightly different. Well, Warthogs and Thunderbolt 2s are the same vehicle. The Cobra Rattler is just a modified version of a Warthog Thunderbolt 2. You know what I mean. So I made a little airplane model that kind of looks like, I don't know, I guess a cross between them. And I made this little tank model here that looks like similar to an M3 Stuart or M3 Lee. Got a little fighter jet I made. I don't really know what kind of jet it looks like. It's just kind of a random idea I had to make that jet. 2 flying saucer UFOs and, like I said, the drone tank. So I wanted to add to this playset, like, some functionality to it other than it just being a terrain, right? I was gonna have like a turret, like a cannon, like an anti-air cannon on the roof of this building here in the middle. Or maybe on the corners, like I could have a little defense emplacement here. But I couldn't decide what I wanted to do, and I know how I would do it if I do it. I was gonna use a ball and socket joint on top of this structure here, this building next to the helipad, and model like a anti-aircraft like defense system, so that friendly helicopters or aircraft can land here on the helipad or on this over here, which is supposed to be the runway over here, and enemy aircraft would get shot down. But I haven't done that yet. That is an addition to the set I want to make. If I make any part of the set actually functional, it's got to have that rotating turret with the anti-aircraft armament on it. It's at least got to rotate around. It doesn't necessarily have to fire missiles, but I would like it to. But obviously, to make it actually fire missiles, that's a more complex system. I was thinking flick fire missiles. Like, if you ever seen those old Lego sets that had flick fire missiles, I was thinking something like that could be pulled off, but I'm not 100% certain if I could get it right, because then you got to get like the scale and everything. I mean, you got to get the scale and everything right to begin with, but be a little trickier. I think I could pull it off. It would be a little trickier. Now, if I had a bigger build plate, I would make this entire playset significantly larger than what I can with the plate I have. So I am printing it as we speak. I'm actually adjusting print temp right now, the nozzle temperature, I mean. And I'm printing it at close to as big as I can print it. So I'm actually printing it a bit smaller than what you see on screen here, ever so slightly. And I'm printing it out of light gray PET G Creality. I can't say it right, but you know what I mean. I'm thinking for the UFOs, the flying saucers, and the airplanes, that I might put them on flight stands or make variations of them on flight stands. So like they look like they're flying, obviously. You know what I mean? But I also want, like, if someone were to play with this playset, like a kid or a kid at heart, I suppose, you know, whatever. You get what I mean? They could land the aircraft on the actual landing pad here. This isn't the most detailed terrain, but I mean, you can make out what it's supposed to be, and that's all that matters as far as I'm concerned. Although I would like to add more details to it in the future, because you can't really tell this is a runway. I mean, you can, but you can't. Like, I didn't put any hangers next to it, and I didn't put anything that would clearly indicate that this is a runway, but other than maybe this little ramp at the end, which was kind of the way I was visualizing that planes would take off from this runway. Like I said, my printer isn't meant to print this small. It can, believe it or not, but you have to be careful with doing it that way. It's tricky to set it up right, and I'm not sure how to explain it. But it can be done, and I have done little tiny models before. But when you print models that are as small as like this little tank here, like these micro scale vehicles, which I kind of want them to be about the size of micro machines, which might mean that the playset might need to be printed at a bigger scale, potentially, than what my build plate can handle. I don't know. Because, like, micro machines are small, and I'm trying to create something that's, like, compatible with them. But micro machines are still a little bit bigger than what I'm planning, than, like, the scale of this little military base terrain. So I don't know if this is going to work. But even if I can't use it or market it as like a playset for micro scale vehicles, it'll be a neat looking terrain piece, right? I think so. Just something to look at, I suppose, but maybe you could use it with like Godzilla. I don't know. Godzilla action figure, some Gundams. It's probably too small for that even. But on a bigger build plate, you could theoretically print this out at a scale for something even bigger than micro machines. But yeah, it's going to be small. It's going to be potentially too small for micro machines. So like the micro scale vehicles I'm going to try to print out, think Lego micro scale. If you've ever seen micro scale on Lego, it's actually quite a bit smaller than micro machines. Like the cars you see, micro scale Lego cars are actually, they are quite a bit smaller than micro machines. I'm hoping to do a little bigger than that, though, because I think that's too small for what I'm trying to create here. Yeah, I'm just keeping an eye on the print over here. It's going to be a while till it's done. It said it would take, well, according to my slicer software, the way I had it set up when I generated the G-code, it said it could take a little over 2 hours, maybe. I forget exactly what it said, but it was it was only a little bit over 2 hours. This machine is pretty fast for what it is, so I can't complain there. It's an Anycubic Cobra 2 Neo, which, yeah, it's an older machine, and it has its flaws as a result. But, I mean, every machine has flaws. You know, there's no such thing as the perfect machine, but, well, I don't think there is anyway. But it is a nice machine, and I really like it, despite the fact that it has broken down on me a few times. You know, it's an entry level machine as far as I'm concerned. I don't know if you agree with that. It's just like my sister got it for me for Christmas like a year ago. Not even a year ago. It was like literally just last year. So that was just a few months. Yeah, December wasn't that long ago. Which I don't think it was. I don't know. I lose track of time so easily. But this has just been a progress update on the model. When it's done printing, I think I'm going to make another video of a progress update on the actual terrain piece. That, you know, the model itself, right? And yeah, like I said about these microscale vehicles, I actually did print the tank, airplane, and other airplane, as well as another tank model that didn't turn out as well. In a even smaller scale than this. And out of all the things that printed, the airplanes turned out the best. Um, the tanks turned out okay, except for like one specific model of tank that I tried to print that at. So that's why I'm using this model. These are all models I made in Blender, and I'm hoping to add more detail to them in the future. But yeah, and I actually designed larger versions of these same models, because actually all I really did was make these bigger models that, for the most part, in the original version that I designed, I made it so the turrets can rotate and move around and stuff, and some of them have other moving parts, like spinning wheels and stuff. But those versions are much, much larger than these. Like, they're like at least as big as a 1/64 scale Hot Wheels car, in most cases a little bigger. But these are much, much smaller. And if you haven't noticed, the alien drone tank thing that I have here, it's pretty heavily based on the armored assault tank from Star Wars. Just very low poly and very simplistic, and I'm pretty sure the armored assault tank doesn't have big exhaust pipes on the back like this. And also, I know the AAT has arms on it with like big cannons. I didn't put these on the drone tank, but I was thinking of making a variation of my drone tank that looks a little more like the AAT. But even though the AAT, the armored assault tank from Star Wars, inspired me to create the drone tank, I don't want to make it too much like the, like the Separatist Battle Droid AAT tank, because, like, I don't want to just rip off Star Wars, but, like, also I need to change the model of this airplane over here, because it just looks too much like a Cobra Rattler from G.I. Joe. So I need to make it look more generic, because I don't like ripping off other brands if I can help it. So I'm gonna probably redo this airplane a little bit. And actually, this airplane needs better details anyway, so they all do, but this is one of the plainest looking ones I've designed, aside from like the UFO, but the UFO was supposed to look retro. So, yeah, I mean, the way you would play with this is you would take your little jet here and land it on the runway here. And I didn't make a helicopter model yet, but I suppose until I design a helicopter model, you could always use the helipad for like the flying saucer, maybe. Although, like, the flying saucer and the drone tank are supposed to be like alien invaders. So, like, if you were like a kid playing with this playset, or you know, an adult who is a kid at heart, right? Whatever, you would be trying to defend your military base from invading space alien invaders or something like that. You know what I'm saying? Like War of the Worlds type stuff. And now that I think of it, maybe I'll make a tripod looking thing too, but I might make it as more of a quadrupod because I mean I guess tripods can be considered generic enough that I could make like a tripod that doesn't look like it's out of War of the Worlds, but I think I'll make a quadrupod, but make it look alien, right? We'll see. I haven't decided. I haven't figured out if I really want to go that route with that yet. But yeah, I mean, the more I think about it, the more I really wish I could scale up this model. Like, I don't know, like that. I would love for it to be at least this big. That is not happening with my machine. With my Anycubic Cobra 2 Neo, there is no way that I can print that big unless I chop it up into smaller parts and print it in separate parts and make those parts snap together. I don't know if I could figure out a good way to do that. But that's also not how I want to do it. I don't know. It's just something I'm working on because I like the idea of like a free form, almost like an open world terrain playset thing. Think like Matchbox action drivers or your typical Matchbox playset, not the Hot Wheels ones. I like those too. Don't get me wrong. I've been a big fan of Hot Wheels my whole life, but the Hot Wheels playsets aren't very free form or open worldy feel, if you know what I mean. Like they kind of push you in a specific direction. If you've ever seen anyone ever play, like ever seen a kid play with a Hot Wheels, most of the Hot Wheels, modern Hot Wheels city, I should say, it really pushes you into a specific play style, more so than Matchbox does with their action driver sets. But although both brands of those are compatible, and if I ever make it where this could be printed big enough to like connect into some kind of road system, that'd be cool. In fact, I have been working on a like puzzle piece road system I was designing. That because I wanted to make parts and custom parts that like other 3D printable road systems just don't have. So I started making my own road system. I probably have I have other videos on the channel about it, but I'm taking a break from working on that particular project to work on making like tanks and military vehicles and aircraft and alien spaceships and stuff like that. Uh, but while I wait for this print to be done, I think this is going to be the end of this little update on this model. I don't know if you want to call this a. I don't know if people still use the term blog post or not, but like all it really is just an update on the status of this project. Yeah, let me know what you think in the comments, and if you have any tips or tricks you could give me to maybe because like yeah, I've only been printing for like I don't know maybe a year at the most, so like I don't even think it's been that long. So I'm learning a lot of techniques and skills over time. So I mean I'm getting there, but yeah, I mean if you have any ideas, maybe something I could add to this, or I don't know. If you have any feedback, preferably positive, but I know this is the internet, so you never know. Uh, but yeah, yeah, just let me know what you think in the comments. That I guess that's all I got to say this time. I'm gonna try not to ramble on. I'll leave you be. We're at 20 minutes anyway, so thanks for watching. Maybe follow the channel if you'd like. You don't have to. But it would help. It would help encourage me to continue working on projects like this. I mean, I'm gonna work on them regardless, but like, it just makes it feel more worthwhile when people comment and or subscribe. So, just putting that out there. Uh, yeah. Bye for now. See you around.